We just have a minor error in perception. Just a minor error, that's all. We're using awareness to see ourselves as a subject relating to all kinds of objects, when it's only awareness and its own dynamic energy. This is a very similar process of the way we create ourselves. It's just like we blip in and focus on one point of view, and then suddenly more and more and more and more proliferate until our whole field is filled with just one point of view after another about being somebody. But if we take a human being or any other phenomena, whether it's animate or inanimate, visible or invisible, and we put it in a machine like a linear particle accelerator and subject it to that kind of instrumentation, we see that there's really nothing there. That whatever it is just comprised of the space in which it occurs. So it's just the dynamic energy of that space and nothing else. So it's really important to be very clear on this reality that all phenomena, no matter what they are pure like the infinite sky. And they are richly empty of having an independent nature. So it is an emptiness that's a void or a nerd or something awful and bleak. It's a rich emptiness, an emptiness that verifies and confirms that there is no independent nature, origin, or substantiality in any phenomenon whatsoever. And so because of that, all phenomena are wholly positive and beneficial. However, if we believe that they're not positive, if we believe they're not beneficial, then they won't be. In this way that we create reality, we can create any reality we want. Whatever reality we want. Say something awful happens to us, something we don't want to happen, our greatest fear. And we're in that situation. Well, if we're resting and we haven't come to the point where rest is just automatic all the time, we're in that situation. We only have two choices. It's to go with the grim and gruesome story, whatever it is, or to rest. That's the only way. That's it. So the only way to really resolve anything completely is to get acquainted with resting more and more. Conscious intelligence, just as it is, always is abiding. It's always abiding in complete stability and complete rest. That's the way everything is. No matter what appears, it's always already completely at rest. Nothing needs to be made to rest. It's already at rest. It doesn't need to be forced into rest or cajoled or tricked or anything else. Everything already is at rest. So when you rest as awareness, you just affirm the nature of reality. The nature of reality that you may have been ignoring for a long time. And the more you do so, the more that becomes obvious. But when you think about all the beliefs you've adopted so many beliefs. We all have endless beliefs, and of many, many kinds. And this is one thing that's looked into in great detail in the inquiries. And so this conscious intelligence or awareness, aware intelligence, is the source or foundation, the underlying basis of all these belief systems. It's impossible to know anything without this conscious intelligence. So aware intelligence is the source of everything we know. And there isn't anything whatsoever that is excluded. Everything that appears, no matter what it is, appears in, of, and as and through that. There's no way to get away from that. There's never been anything that has strayed or veered away from that. It would be impossible to do so. Where would it go? It's just absolutely impossible. So when we think of ourselves as a personal identity, a subject who's then interacting with all these other objects like thoughts, emotions, sensations, people, places, and things, we just have a minor error in perception. Just a minor error, that's all. We're using awareness to see ourselves as a subject relating to all kinds of objects when it's only awareness and its own dynamic energy. Whether it's a subject or an object, it's the dynamic energy of awareness. And so, that's really key. And so what we call I and what we use personal pronouns to create into a subjective identity, a personal identity, that's only awareness. It's always been awareness. It's never been anything else. What you call you, or what you refer to when you say I, that is awareness. That power to know, that power to create, that's awareness, that's conscious intelligence. It doesn't come from an individual. It's just that's what we've learned. And so it's much easier to affirm awareness than to keep that in place. And the reason that we start to feel more at ease, no matter what's going on when we gain confidence in awareness, is that we are affirming our natural state. We're affirming our native disposition. We're affirming that about us, which is what makes everything happen, which unifies and organizes everything, no matter what it is. And when the more restful we become, the more we see that there's really nothing going on. That all of this is just an instantaneous, instant to instant, momentary perception of something that doesn't have an independent nature. But this effortlessness necessarily requires no thinking. Conscious intelligence doesn't need to think in order for phenomena to appear. It doesn't think them into an appearance. It's a spontaneous activity. So the more we rest, the more effortless life becomes, the less we feel we have to think about everything in order to create this reality.